Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you to Mount Sinai High School, where this afternoon the Varsity Media Sports Network presents this Suffolk County Girls Lacrosse Showdown between the visiting Sharks of Eastport South Manor and the host Mustangs of Mount Sinai. Today's Suffolk County Girls Lacrosse Showdown is presented and sponsored by Long Island Speech. Long Island Speech believes that everyone has the right to better communication with 9 locations across Long Island. Long Island Speech isn't far from you and can help you and your loved ones reach their speech and language goals. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler here with you, our entire Varsity Media crew, for what should be a fun one between Eastport South Manor, who come into this game with a 5-2 record against Mount Sinai. They are now 3-3 after their 9-2 win over Miller Place on Saturday, a game we also had for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network. For ESM, they are a team that, as you mentioned, right now cooking a little bit. Their last game was a 12-2 win over West Babylon, where collectively, defensively, they held Lacey Downey, who's heading to Boston College, to just 1 goal. And that's always been the focal point of Eastport South Manor. It's about their defense for so many years. It's a little bit of a younger defense this year, just in terms of experience, where a lot of the players last year that started on defense graduated or now moved up to the midfield, but they have some talented players. We'll take a look at 2 of their players right now, our players to watch for Eastport South Manor, and it starts on attack with Gianna Jackalone. The Jackalone name is certainly synonymous with ESM lacrosse. Her older sister, Sam, was a goalie at Notre Dame. Now she's a Stanford assistant coach, and Alex is a defender at East Carolina. Gianna will go on and play at Coastal Carolina. You see her numbers there, 5-18. She is the quarterback of this attack for ESM. And on the other side, Emma McLean, she was on defense last year, and she's going to be that kind of a defensive midi, a two-way midi, Loyola commit. She will be an outstanding player for ESM defensively. Mount Sinai, we mentioned before, a little bit of an up-and-down season in Shayna Pareka's first season as head coach, but a big win, a big emotional win on Saturday. We mentioned, again, that defeat of Miller Place, a game that we had for you right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. 9-3 was the final. Taylor Klein had a big one in that one with 3 goals in the cage, though. What an impressive performance by Sarah Floback with 9 saves. We take a look at the Mount Sinai players to watch now, and another QB of the attack is Alexa Spalina, the sophomore. She is called QB1, 15 goals, 11 assists, 26 points on the season for one of the top sophomores in the country. And on the back, it is Abby Sabella, Stony Brook-bound, lockdown defender. She is a senior, and she will be certainly someone to keep an eye out for today. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the visiting Sharks of Eastport South Manor. We mentioned before Jack alone. You see Kaylin Luciano, Julia Morisrow, and Riley Carlson. Carlson steps in for the injured Cassidy Miller. In midfield, you've got Mia Forte, Amanda Sweeney, and Emma McLean. Sweeney and McLean were those 2 who were on the defense a year ago. And your defenders are Bridie McGuire, Sarah Clough, Natalie Saltis, and the 8th grader, Caitlin Murtha as well. And in the cage, it's Ashley Langdon, a terrific goalie for ESM. Johns Hopkins commit with 25 saves, a lefty. And her head coach, Becky Thorne, says when she is on, makes a lot of terrific saves. And Becky Thorne, in her 13th season at the helm for ESM, a 2002 graduate of Sachem, went on and played her college lacrosse at Hofstra. Now let's take a look at the starters for the hosts, the Mustangs of Mount Sinai. And you see Spalina, Klein, Leah Flobeck, and Sophia Mazzone, the freshmen, on attack. Your midfield is the two-way midi Kaylee Carinante, who had a terrific game against Miller Place. She's joined by Cassidy Millen, Peyton Choma, who is bound for Quinnipiac. And then your D is Sarah Blandy, Abby Sabella. We expect it to be Ava Schertzer, though she did pick up an injury against Miller Place. So we'll see if it is her or not. If not, it'll be Madison Cuccinello in her place and Kyla Orlando as well. And in the cage for Mount Sinai is Sarah Flobeck. Again, a terrific game she had against Miller Place. 36 saves on the year. And Flobeck, you see it there. She is bound for Arizona State. So before we have the opening draw, let's take a look at the keys to victory as we spoke with both of these coaches coming in to this contest. For Eastport South Manor, they want to be patient and smart offensively. They want to tighten things up. They'll play a man defense. Mount Sinai will play that backer zone look. So consider specific to that zone. Becky Thorne said they also want to be on the same page on those zone rides. For Mount Sinai, it's about playing disciplined and valuing the ball, limiting fouls and yellow cards. That was a major concern really for both Mount Sinai and Miller Place the other day. There were 14 combined yellow cards, and you want to get dirty between the 30s. You want to compete there. The draw controls, rides, clears, ground balls, all those things are really important for Mount Sinai. So both teams huddling just before the start of this one. Again, Mount Sinai 3-3 on the year. They won this meeting a year ago, 4-1. Kylie Budke, Kaylee Carinante, Taylor Klein, and Leah Flobeck all scored. Jillian McFadden, who's now at Adelphi, had 6 saves for the Mustangs in that 4-1 win. And in fact, you go back to 2019, and Eastport South Manor, they go 19-1. They win the state championship. That one loss, to Mount Sinai, a 5-3 defeat on that day. So Mount Sinai getting the better of ESM these last couple years. They're in different classifications in Suffolk County. Mount Sinai, Class C, ESM, Class B. But listen, Becky Thorne says over the years, and it remains true today, every one of these games is a battle. These two teams will go and play hard. So we're set here for the opening draw, and it will be for ESM, Caitlin Murtha, the 8th grader. And on the other side, Taylor Klein for Mount Sinai in white, number 7. She is committed to Brown. Just about set. It looks like one of the officials is just making sure that one of the practice nets is off to the side. And now we are set for the opening draw between ESM and Mount Sinai. Both teams will utilize different personnel on the draw. It's not just one girl's responsibility. Both teams chase down that loose ball, and that GB is picked up by ESM. So they win the opening draw. A good ground ball picked up by Amanda Sweeney, and now the Sharks start off on attack. The key, Becky Thorne said, when you deal with a zone defense like Mount Sinai plays, and it mimics what Stony Brook does collegiately, is you got to move the ball quick. You got to cut off ball as well, and we're seeing some of that as well as you saw some movement around by the net. Emma McLean was cutting across. But the ball movement is very important against the zone. Again, ESM kind of goes a little bit more old school. They'll play a man defensively, but one thing is for sure, Becky Thorne says they are getting used to these zone looks. There's a terrific pass, and our first infraction of the day. I believe that was shooting space, so they'll have an 8-meter situation, and considering the angle, this one might get pulled out. Let's see. It does. Nice look to the crease. Turnaround shot, and Flowback makes her first save. Nice save, denying Emma McLean. Flowback was terrific, especially early. Miller Place on Saturday, they jumped out to a 1-0 lead. They had a man up as well, and they had an opportunity then to really extend the lead, but Flowback made some incredible saves. I believe she had 9 on the day, and probably the first 4 or 5 were just like super highlight reel. As now Mount Sinai get into their attack. There's Leah Flowback. She gets doubled. Tries to work her way out of it. Good pursuit. Flowback cuts the other way. They slide to her. Quick ball movement from Mount Sinai. Fake shot. And now Spallina will work it to X. That's where she operates. That is her home office. Great look, and there's the finish. Peyton Choma with the goal, and Mount Sinai takes the 1-0 lead. So first shot, first goal. And what a look from Spallina to find Choma. Just put it in a perfect spot. Watch it again. See Spallina cutting. Watch Choma off ball right there, right to her stick, and there's the finish. So 1-0 the lead for Mount Sinai. For Choma, her ninth goal of the year. Spallina picks up assist number 12. So first shot, first goal for Mount Sinai. That's a good sign early on in a meeting these last few years that has been very low scoring. And you see, as we mentioned, the change personnel draw control-wise, it is Spallina to the draw control for Mount Sinai. That draw is popped up in the air, and Spallina comes after it, gets her own. So both teams win a draw control, and Mount Sinai, fresh off of that goal, will get in to their attack again. We mentioned before, head coach of the Mustangs, one of the greatest certainly to play here when you think of the Mount Rushmore at Mount Sinai. Shayna Pareca is right there. What a look to the crease. Oh, and it's an even better save. Rebound picked up. So first save of the game for Ashley Langdon. Again, both of these goalies college bound. You see the double to Spallina. Carinante up top. Weaving through traffic. Bouncer is wide of the mark by Mazzone. Backup was there. So Spallina will put the play back in, and you see right away 2 defenders to Spallina. So if Mount Sinai are able to move the ball quickly, they'll find the open player. There's a cross-crease pass, and the rip and the finish. So Mount Sinai off to a quick start. A terrific look across the crease. Believe that was Cassidy Millen with the goal. And the assist will show you again. Looks like it was Flowback, 21. Here you can see it again. Flowback looking for options. Terrific pass, and that's a great look from our camera crew Cassidy Millen with the finish. So 2 goals, 2 assisted goals for Mount Sinai. And Millen gets her 2nd goal of the year. It's now Amanda Sweeney in for the draw control for ESM. Back in there after her win now is Spallina. And we'll do this one again. It didn't get raised high enough. It's got to go over the shoulders. So we'll set this one up again. And we'll have to redo it yet again. And off the infraction, it'll be ESM ball. So the Sharks back on attack. And there's Mia Forte. She moves it quickly, gets it right back. Forte, the Binghamton commit, as a sophomore, was a starter on defense. Was actually one of the lock-off defenders for ESM, and last year kind of floated into the midfield role, and that's where she is now. Good takeaway. And now Mount Sinai looked to get moving as it was Millen. Right off of scoring the goal, here comes Millen, now unsettled. Terrific job by Millen, and now Flobeck will get the attack going. Leo is bound for Florida. And at Mount Sinai, looking to add to their lead. Look across the crease. That was for Taylor Klein. Good ground ball picked up by Mazzone, the freshman. Mazzone saw limited time last year as an 8th grader on varsity, but Pareca says has one of the strongest work ethics on this team. See a lot of the off-ball movement. You see right away how they're trying to lock off Spallina. Now Flobeck looks to dodge. Gets topside. The look to the crease and the finish. It is Millen again. Millen from Flobeck. It worked so well for the 2nd goal. Let's do it again. Top side, low crease, and Millen is able to finish. So a terrific start for Mount Sinai. 3-0 is the score. Two goals by Cassidy Millen, 1 from Peyton Choma, 2 assists, Leah Flobeck, and 1 to Alexis Spallina, who's in on the draw. This one is a good draw control, and it is again won by Mount Sinai. That ground ball picked up by Choma. So you got to figure a lot of confidence going right now for the Mustangs. Who have 3 goals on their first 4 shots. Here's Spallina. Rounds the cage. Spallina turns the other way. A little question mark dodge on the goal. With her size and strength, when you put her in a 1v1, good luck trying to defend Alexis Spallina. You see it again. Watch the move. Question mark. Boop. Terrific finish by Spallina for her 16th goal of the year. It is now a 4-0 lead for Mount Sinai. She is as much a threat on the dodge, as you saw there, as she is operating from X as the QB1 of this Mustang squad. Her vision is unparalleled. Perhaps it's matched only by her will to win. Another draw control for Mount Sinai. As there goes Choma. Gets it to Spallina. Choma looks to dodge. Split dodge. Loses it on her way in. And now Langdon will get a chance to clear. And she's got really good passes on the clearing game. So ESM will now look to slice in. They haven't been on this side of the field in a long time between the goals and losing the draws. So you expect them probably to push this ball around a little bit. And there is one of our players to watch, Gianna Jackalone, back at X waiting to see if she can operate from there. But for now, they'll just play catch a little bit and give their defenders a little opportunity to breathe. Mia Forte. Good defense by Mount Sinai, forcing the ball back out to Forte, who has 15 goals and 8 assists on the year. Here she comes again. We mentioned before this zone look, a little bit of a different look that Reina Sabella brought in from, as there's a low shot, but a crease violation. So you'll wave that goal off as Kaylin Luciano stepped in. But the Mount Sinai defense, it mimics what Joe Spallina does at Stony Brook, and so many of these players as well play for his Yellow Jackets team, and they learn it there as well. But it still has been some education going on for some of those other players who don't. As Millen restarts. And there's flow back to Spallina at X. A 4-0 lead early on for Mount Sinai. It's always curious, sort of, how do you play Spallina? And Miller Place, with Alexa's uncle as the head coach, Danny, elected to kind of shield her off. There's Spallina off the pipe. And another ground ball. It feels like Mount Sinai has gotten every ground ball to this point. Again, that's one of their keys in this game, and they have operated it, especially early on, really well. There's a high arcing pass. Flobeck wants it back. Spallina, split dodge, bouncer, and the goal. So Spallina gets her second, and it is all Mount Sinai early on. They lead this one 5-0. Another look. Here is Spallina. That's her office, and this is her versatility. You see splitting defenders, changing her angle. An unassisted goal for Alexa Spallina, her second of the game. And she makes this a 5-0 lead for Mount Sinai. And again, it has also been about the draw control, and that has been almost all right now in favor of Mount Sinai. There's a nice win to herself for Amanda Sweeney. Sweeney with 17 goals and 3 assists on the year. Again, one of the better defenders on this Sharks team a year ago. But because of her ability to run and her height, Becky Thorne moved her and Emma McLean up to midfield this year. Kind of utilizing more of her abilities. That pass goes across the way, but Forte there to scoop it up. ESM desperate for a response. And there's McLean. They haven't really, and now they do. I was going to say they haven't really been able to get it to Jack alone at X. Nice pass there. Terrific defending by Millen. So now ESM's got to get back up top. Nice cut by Forte. Spins away, and again, back up top. Nothing down low right now for ESM. As Mount Sinai just aggressively taking seemingly everything away. Jack alone fakes, looks for cutters, and again goes to Forte. Jack alone defended by her opposing number 3 and Sarah Blandy. Nice split dodge, high shot, and a goal. Mia Forte with the response. That only the second shot for ESM in a first half that's been dominated by Mount Sinai. But what a terrific individual effort by Mia Forte. Watch it again. She gets the ball from Jack alone, splits defenders. As the contact comes, she finishes her 16th goal of the year.
ESM goal scored by number 8, Mia Forte, unassisted.
And that unassisted goal, again, one that ESM so desperately needed, cuts this deficit now to 5-1. Spalina and Sweeney back at the draw control. Good ground ball picked up. So it's another draw control win for Mount Sinai. That was Abby Sabella who got the ground ball. It's a 5-3 edge right now in terms of draws for Mount Sinai. Good look there at Mazzone. She gets it to Flobeck. 5-10. Terrific athlete as well. Flobeck for herself. She rounds the cage and scores. Right on cue. Flobeck, we were just talking about how dynamic she is. A lefty, quick, 5'10", a great dodger. And there you see Flobeck utilizing all those skills to make it a 5-goal lead again. Watch her here. She cuts on her defender. Terrific ball fake as she forced Langdon up high where she thought her shot would be and then brought it down low for Flobeck, her 12th goal of the year. She's now got a goal and 2 assists in this one, and it's a 6-1 lead for Mount Sinai. Sweeney and Spalina back to the draw. And that'll be a dangerous one there, and Spalina got it up high on Sweeney. So ESM gets that draw control, and now they get back on to attack. Jack alone to restart. Becky Thorne said her team is a little bit of a different one than past years, where last year's team had a different dynamic. This year it's a little bit more of that old school ESM where there's the closeness and that connective tissue that you play with for the Sharks, as they have in the past. And she said, when we play connected and we stick to game plans, we've been playing really special lacrosse. And again, considering how many teams play this type of zone, she said the constant ball movement, finding the open person, as there is one of those, but flow back, a tremendous save. She's not been called into action a lot, but she has been there when needed. And now a little bit of an unsettled situation. It's a great pass. One more. Flow back to the cage and the finish. That was pretty. It started from one Flowbeck sister in the cage who makes the save, and it ends up with the other, Leah, with the finish, as it's now a 7-1 lead for Mount Sinai. You see the unsettled situation, and there's the one more. And a great goal line dodge by Flowbeck. But it started with Kyla Orlando to Sophia Mazzone, and it ended with Flowbeck's second of the year. Her 13th of the season for Mazzone, her first assist. Chase for the ground ball. Won by ESM. Good job there by Emma McLean. So ESM has actually battled back. They're even right now, 5 apiece in draw controls. But the big stat, of course, on the scoreboard heavily favors Mount Sinai. And now you see Mount Sinai pressing out a little bit on this zone. And for the Sharks, they want to try to get those players inside the seams. Now it's Jack alone. She hasn't really been able to operate too much from back there. Again, it's been Blandy whose job, it would appear, is to defend her today. McLean swings at Forte. There is Jack alone now. And again, it's 3-on-3. There's the double. Look to the cage, and there's the finish. Good look by the junior Riley Carlson. Her second goal of the year. And Carlson is the one in right now for the injured Cassidy Miller. Watch it again. See the look to X. Jack alone looking for options. She goes the other way. Watch 15 right there. Cut away from defenders. There's a pass and the finish. And from distance as well, Carlson, she could sling it.
ESM goal scored by number 15, Riley Carlson, assisted by number 13.
So Kaylin Luciano picks up the assist. Her 4th of the year, and Carlson's 2nd goal. And again, she's in for Miller. She hasn't seen a lot of minutes until Miller got injured against West Hampton. We'll have a restart here again. Dad Chris, one of the assistant coaches on the staff. But she's a basketball player, so when they can do those pick and rolls, she's really good with those. Terrific vision as well. It's just about building up her confidence right now, and you got to figure a goal like that in a game like this does just that. Another ground ball, won off the face-off by Choma. And it's Mount Sinai back on attack, in control here, 7-2. You see on the bottom of your screen, just under 9 minutes left in this first half. Mazzone gets it up top. And now Mount Sinai just patiently working it around, and Flowbeck has been a matchup problem for ESM here today. She brings her defender out, now tries to cut inside, spins, looks for cutters, pops it back out. Now Olivia Romeo looks to dodge. She's defended well, and again, it's a man defense for ESM. Choma hands off, and now lowering the shoulder. Look at the acceleration by Spallina. She is fouled on her way there, so an 8-meter opportunity. But man, Spallina just went into a different gear. And here comes Spallina. And man, she can sling it. That one, though, high. And now she'll look to operate as a feeder. Again, backs down to the defender, turns around, and that shot wide of the mark. Also the edge in shots for Mount Sinai right now. Unofficially, they've lead in that category 9-4. And again, when you've got players like Klein and Flobeck, and even when Ava Clark comes in, who plays with Spallina on that Yellow Jackets travel team, it really creates so many opportunities for Spallina to just pick off players and find options, and multiple options at that. Romeo to the net for the freshman. And it's an 8-2 lead for Mount Sinai. And by the way, that's a freshman. Look at that great move and finish as Romeo gets her first varsity goal. The original plan was to use her on defense, but she's been doing so well on the attack. They changed her to a two-way midi, which is nice for Mount Sinai, just in terms of that depth in the midfield, where she is that fourth midi who can come in and run some shifts. She's young, developing, but Pareca says has a bright future. So 8-2 the lead early on for Mount Sinai, looking for back-to-back wins after beating Miller Place here in a game that featured a bevy of yellow cards. So another face-off win. Excuse me, draw control win. I knew I'd do that once at least today. Another draw control win for Mount Sinai, and Spallina changes out her stick and gets that special attacking one and gets back to X. And I'll tell you, not many teams have that ability to have a Spallina and a Flobeck, the righty-lefty look. From either side of behind the cage. Look at this split dodge and another goal. Peyton Choma gets her second. And it is all Mount Sinai here early on. They lead this one 9-2. And I'm not sure if it's something that Mount Sinai are seeing in what defensively they're bringing, but right there, another split dodge. And really, it was kind of just beating your individual matchup, and the help came, but Choma still fought through that. And she has been a terrific story. Peyton Choma, what a incredible story for her. She's battled back from a pair of ACL injuries, and this is really the first season where she's back to being the Peyton Choma of old. Last year, she played with those 2 bulky knee braces, and mentally, too, she wasn't quite there yet. But she is back to being the player that everyone expected her to be. And there you see another draw control and another ground ball that Choma picks up. So she is all over this stat sheet, and Spolina has been very good at the draw today as well. Choma, her sister Casey, Notre Dame. But Choma, just a workhorse who does everything. She's great, as we've seen here on the circle. And she's really bought into her new role on this team. So again, just kind of patiently working it around the perimeter, and just, this is an ESM team that has done a boatload of defending in this first half. Now the cutters. Now the movement off ball. And Spolina just looking to see who she could feed from there. Turns. Oh, the BTB! A Spolina special. 3 on the day for Alexa Spolina. And that one was so pretty, we've got to show you it again. Her brother, Joey, now up, of course, at Syracuse, has made a living out of doing just that. And you know that Alexa, in the backyard of the Spolina household, I'm sure, has been working on that craft. And again, this wasn't just a BTB or right at the game. That was with power as well. So Spolina, her 3rd goal of this game, to go along with an assist. That's 18 on the season. She was held somewhat in check by Miller Place. Only 2 assists in that game. But here today, she has unleashed her skills and her varied skills at that. At the draw. Good ground ball scooped up there by Sweeney off of that draw win. So 10-2 the score, inside 4 minutes left in a first half that Mount Sinai has dominated in. And you got to think that Pareca, maybe she'll watch it back here in the Varsity Media Sports Network, but this is one where she will say, this is how we need to play. They've been tough on this side of the ball. Flobeck's made the saves that she's had to make. And even one of a spectacular variety as well. Good look to the crease. And again, taking away the options. Here comes Forte now, looking for something. And then it has been balanced scoring offensively on the other side of the ball. 5 different goal scorers for Mount Sinai. And then, of course, one of the keys about being as longtime and legendary Mount Sinai head coach Albert Alone says, being dirty between the 30s, and they've done that as well. Winning draws, winning ground balls. That's a great look across the crease, and Flobeck with the save. Julia Morrisroe brought that one down.
2 minutes.
As we're now inside of 2 minutes, ESM will get the ball back. The 3rd save for Flobeck on only ESM's 5th shot. So yeah, they've been economical. They've put their shots on cage, but there's obviously not been enough of them. 2 goals on 5 shots. And Flowback's made 3 saves. McLean. And her quickness, and a lot of these other players' quickness, kind of, you lose it playing against this zone. Morrisrow, after just getting that last shot on frame, pulls it back, and now we approach the final minute of this first half. And the last thing actually you want to do, right, if you're ESM, is to force anything. And that's a great look. There's a dodge and flow back again. Mia Forte put that one on frame, but Flowback gets up high and makes the save, her 4th.
30 seconds.
And now inside the final 30 seconds, Mount Sinai can maybe get one more here.
20.
See a little bit of a pressure here, bit of a ride by ESM. Ducking out of that was Carinante. There's a pass, 1 second. So Mount Sinai won't get one last shot off, but they have dominated in all 3 phases of this game. They've been great defensively. Flowback in the cage has been outstanding. And again, a balanced attack on the other side of the field. You add all those things up, and you've got a 10-2 lead for Mount Sinai. We'll take a break, get you some halftime stats and a few other things when we return. You're watching the Suffolk Girls Lacrosse Showdown presented by Long Island Smile right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your events or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
We welcome you back to Mount Sinai High School. It's still halftime here in Mount Sinai with a 10-2 lead. This Suffolk Girls Lacrosse Showdown is presented by Long Island Speech. And the folks at Long Island Speech believe that everyone has the right to better communication. With 9 locations across Long Island Speech isn't far from you and can help you and your loved ones reach their speech and language goals. Long Island Speech treats both children and adults and also accepts most major health insurances. Their team of licensed speech pathologists and myofunctional therapists treat language disorders, tongue thrust, feeding and swallowing problems, voice disorders, processing difficulties, memory and auditory processing, fluency, articulation, and so much more. Everyone has the right to better communication, and Long Island Speech can help. Call 844-5-SPEECH or visit lispeech.com for more information. We also want to let you know about some of our upcoming sportscasts here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We've got a lot of them on hand. I think this is game 1 of 10 this week. We have another girls' game today, Sacred Heart and St. Anthony's. Syosset and Massapequa on the boys' side as well. But you'll want to hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube channel and also follow us on all our socials for all those upcoming games. As far as these 2 teams go, let's show you Eastport South Manor's upcoming games. And this one today is part of a really tough stretch. It continues with Compsawag and then Bayport Blue Point, who are absolutely on fire to start this season. Then they go to Smithtown West and then at Shoreham Wading River. For Mount Sinai, Their difficult schedule continues as well at Smithtown West, home for East Islip. Then they've got Mattatuck and a really good Wilton from Connecticut team. That's part of that awesome Gains for Brains showcase there at Cold Spring Harbor. So here we go back to the draw control and some first half stats for you. The draw control has not been dominated, but the edge goes to Mount Sinai. 8-6 there. Spallina. They'll say that ESM will get that opening draw. Shots from that first half, 11-6 in favor of Mount Sinai. 4 saves for Sarah Flowback. 1 save on the other side to Ashley Langdon. And unlike the Miller Place game, there were no man-up opportunities. So both teams played 7-on-7. As now ESM looks to try to slice away. There's Jack Alone at X. Nice cut, low shot. And that one's wide of the mark. That was Emma McLean with the opportunity. The sun has certainly come out here at Mount Sinai. It was a bit cloudy when we arrived and kind of gloomy start to the day here in Suffolk County, and it is now glorious sunshine as Jack Alone looks to operate from X. .13 you see there is Kaylin Luciano to Jack Alone. Jack Alone pushes it up top. And then a foul was called on the dodging opportunity by Emma McLean. So McLean with the 8-meter. Low, goal. And you see maybe part of the conversation there at halftime. So many of those early shots by ESM were high, and Flowback was making the saves. But now, on the 8-meter, you see it being a low shot. See the defenders converge and a good finish there by Emma McLean. Loyola commits so fast. She sees the field so well, and being able to work her into the transition game, Becky Thorne says, has been just awesome this year. She's sneaky with backdoor cuts, and she has been playing well against zones this year. And now Sweeney wins this draw as well. So maybe ESM, again, you've got to get one goal at a time, but listen, you win the draw, you get a goal, you win the draw, and now you're back on attack again. And obviously, confidence grows then. Jack Alone to Luciano. She'll pull it back out, swings it across, skips it up top. So McLean is a bit of that QB up top, and Jack Alone works it at X. That's an errant pass out to the midfield. Nice ground ball picked up by Taylor Klein. And then she takes a shove and will restart. Klein, her head coach, Shayna Pareca, says, has one of the best IQs that she's ever seen in a high school player. So smart, which means that she puts herself in great positions. She's great off ball, and again, that combination kind of her ability to go off ball and Alexa's feeding from X, that is a dangerous twosome, and magic is what Pareca calls it. There's Choma, just flips it to Flowback. Split dodge, she is hammered on her way there. So it'll be an 8-meter opportunity for Flobeck, who already has 2 and 2 on the day. And she's another one, too, coming to her own. That low shot wide of the mark this year where she's expanded her game. We've seen her ability and how dangerous and really effective she is as well at dodging, but she's been able to also work off ball. Here comes Spallina. Inside roll, turns it back to the other side, tries to get top side, splits a double. Spallina! Oh, that's a nice looking save. And winning the chase to the ball was Forte. And that's one of the things that Becky Thorne says about Langdon is she reads the ball really well, has those quick hands, also not afraid to get down and play almost like a hockey goalie. You know, some high school goalies, they like to let their sticks do their work, but she is so active. She's also not afraid to come out of her cage and pick off passage. She's got a few caused turnovers on the year. And again, her clearing game on point. She's bound for Johns Hopkins. So now ESM back on attack. Again, trying to find those seams in this zone defense that the Mustangs employ. Here's Sweeney. She's someone who's taken her fair share of bumps and bruises to the net. And the finish. And don't look now, but ESM is making a comeback. Looks like that was Mia Forte with the goal, number 8. Her second. We'll show it to you again. Again, splitting defenders, fighting through. What a terrific effort by the Binghamton-bound senior. For Forte, it is her second of the game, 17th of the season. And it's now a 10-4 game. Both of the goals in this second half scored by the visitors. And ESM has a tremendous lacrosse history. Really, both of these teams do. As there's a push from behind on Forte, and she looks to get something going quickly. McLean backs up. But ESM, 7 Suffolk titles, all of these in Class B. In 2013, or 2012, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So a dominant force ESM has been for numerous years. A pair of Long Island Class B championships in there as well. And we'll have another 8-meter opportunity. They won in 2015 and 19, and also in both of those years, they got off the island and then won the states. So 2 New York State Class B titles for Becky Thorne's ESM, and that one sneaks through. So Emma McLean picks up her second. And this forces Pareca to call a timeout. You see it again. And perhaps the book maybe is out, or at least try something different. Low goals scored by ESM as Mount Sinai calls a timeout, as they've now sliced their deficit to 10-5. Long Island Speech believes that everyone has the right to better communication. With 9 locations across Long Island, Long Island Speech isn't far from you and can help your loved ones reach their speech and language goals. Long Island Speech treats both children and adults and accepts most major health insurances. Their team of licensed speech pathologists and myofunctional therapists treat language disorders, tongue thrusts, feeding, and swallowing problems voice disorders, processing difficulties, memory and auditory processing, fluency, articulation, and so much more. Everyone has the right to better communication, and Long Island Speech can help. Call 844-5-SPEECH or visit lispeech.com for more information. We'll show you our most recent poll on Varsity Media. I think this was released today. And you can see some of the top teams. It's Ward Melville and Northport, two Suffolk A powerhouses, both undefeated. They're on a collision course. Wantagh, we had that win, or you could see they had a win, I should say, over St. Anthony's. You see Manhasset, Bayport, Blue Point, North Shore with the latest, youngest, and maybe greatest Colbert sister, West Hampton. Winners a year ago in B, Sacred Heart, Garden City, Cold Spring, Massapequa, and there is ESM right there. So perhaps in a week's time, Mount Sinai could find themselves in that spot into the Sweet 16 Varsity Media Girls Lacrosse Poll. So ESM, having trailed 10-2 at the end of the first half, has reeled off 3 consecutive goals to start, forcing Pareca to call a timeout. Emma McLean and Mia Forte have 2 apiece. Riley Carlson has 1. The only assisted goal went when Kaylin Luciano picked it up. Back to the draw, and this one is won cleanly by Klein. Against Bellina was going so well that you could see why you kind of stuck with her, obviously, but Klein has been they've been 1 and 1B, or I should say, it's not Klein who's been the leader there, but they've both shared that responsibility. And there is Polina from X. Gets at the Klein. And now, again, after defending for as long as they have, it'll just be a little bit of everyone gets a touch, and then we'll get into our offense. Mentioned before, not many on the high school or even collegiate level were better on this side of the ball than Shayna Pareca was. In her 5-year career at Mount Sinai, she had 203 goals, 86 assists. She was the number 5 ranked recruit in the class of 2014, went on and won a New York State Championship in 2013. She went to play for Florida, where she had 214 points on 154 goals and 60 assists. Her plan or her hope was always to come back home and to kind of teach the next generation of Mount Sinai girls lacrosse players what she has been able to learn from the likes of Albert Alone and others. And she's got Rain Isabella, another former Mount Sinai star, on her staff, and former Stony Brook standout, and her dad, Joe, a volunteer assistant. There's Spalina at X. We mentioned ESM's history and championship history. There's been plenty as well for Mount Sinai. They've won 6 Suffolk Class C titles in 2013. Before that, 2011, 2015, 16, 17, and 18. 5 Long Island championships as well, and 3 state titles, 2013, 15, and 17. So every other year in that stretch, they won a state title. Again, just patience right now. Off the timeout, off conceding 3 straight goals. Here's Choma. No shot clock, no stall warning. So really, and this is one of the things that Pareca has told her team as well, just about valuing possessions, and that was one of their keys coming into this game. And that means, listen, you're in no rush. All right, you're not dealing with a shot clock or, just take your time and let's get the most out of every possession. Here comes Spallina again from X, draws a triple, tried to dump it out to Choma. Ground ball scooped up by Choma. She has been a vacuum getting those balls off the carpet. She will play at Quinnipiac next year. Or 2 years. We're not getting her to graduate just yet. In 2 years' time, she'll play at Quinnipiac. And they are certainly getting a well-rounded player in Choma. Now she'll look to dodge. Choma gets downhill. Choma! Wow. Goal number 3, and what a response that is for Mount Sinai. You eat a lot of the clock, and then Peyton Choma just gets downhill and gets to the cage. Look at this. Once she makes her move, see you later. Choma switching hands, gets it to her right, and there is the finish. Her 3rd of the game, the unassisted goal, also her 11th of the season. And it's an 11-5 lead. And again, for Pareca, you've got to think she loved everything that she saw off of that timeout, where they were patient with the ball. They pushed it around. They didn't force anything. And then when the opportunity arose, Choma took advantage. Back to the draw circle we go. Klein wins it to herself. Reverses course. They're chasing Klein. She's tripled. She gets it to Choma. Who else? Mentioned before, a very busy week. Not just for yours truly, but on this Varsity Media Sports Network. We've got 10 games this week. Yes, 10 this week. That continues tomorrow. We've got Syosset and Massapequa, Brian Soper and myself on that call of the boys' rivalry that is Pequa and Sio. As another dodge. And the feed to X to Spallina. Then we'll have another big rivalry game, Cold Spring Harbor. This is on the boys' side. Cold Spring Harbor, Manhasset on Wednesday night. Spallina just looking for options and cutters. Again, they're not playing her, so might as well just continue to be patient. Great look, and that one off the pipe. Tracking down the ground ball. Klein will get it. But that was a good look, and again, that one just off the pipe. We've got Huntington and Hills on the boys' side as well off the restart. Here comes Klein. Splitting defenders. Klein, goal! Taylor Klein gets on the score sheet. And after those 3 straight goals from ESM, it's been back-to-back for the Mustangs as they extend their lead to 12-5. Not dissimilar to that last goal by Choma. It was just an opportunity to pick out your space, splitting defenders, and that's not an easy finish, man. Going to the opposite post, having to range across, also realizing the contact will come as well. So for Klein, her 1st of the game, 9th of the season, and Eastport South Manor call timeout. I want to thank the folks at Long Island Speech for their sponsoring of this game. Long Island Speech believes that everyone has the right to better communication. With 9 locations across Long Island Speech isn't far from you and can help your loved ones reach their speech and language goals. Long Island Speech treats both children and adults, and they accept most major health insurances. Their team of licensed speech pathologists and myofunctional therapists treat language disorders, tongue thrusts, feeding and swallowing problems, voice disorders, processing difficulties, memory and auditory processing, fluency, articulation, and so much more. Everyone has the right to better communication, and Long Island Speech can help. Call 844-5SPEECH or visit lispeech.com for more information. There you see off the huddle, Mount Sinai. Parecka even said some of those early losses to Bayport Blue Point and Rocky Point, she says, look, that was good for us. Because it was those early tests and, you know, kind of exposed some weaknesses and things they had to work on in practice. They had a long break, about 8 days from after the Rocky Point game to regroup and to get practicing. And listen, she says settle 7-on-7, whether it's on offense or defense. She's very confident where they've needed work and where they've shown that improvement, especially here today, has been in the middle of the field, right between the 30s. A lot of those intangibles, the hustle plays, the draw control, ride and clear, that's where they've struggled. And even against Miller Place, she said that's a team that is gritty, and that's what they aspired to be. And off the draw, here comes Kaylee Luciano. Crafty, hard lefty. It's funny, Becky Thorne, the ESM coach, says that she has reminded Luciano a ton over these last couple of years how much she reminds her of Kelsey Huff, who's at USC. She said she scored a goal the other day, and she's like, man, if you had blonde hair, I would swear you were the exact replica of Kelsey Huff. One of the great lacrosse families here in Suffolk County, the Huffs. Great job getting stick in passing lane. Really well done by Kyla Orlando. The sophomore was hurt coming into the year, so they weren't quite sure how and if they were going to be able to utilize her this year. She's truly a two-way midi, but she's playing defense now because that's where we need help. You've got an injured player there, and Marissa Gatz, who would normally be a starter. So Orlando has stepped up into that. She's long, rangy. And Parecka says, listen, by the end of the year, she will have the most interceptions and cause turnovers on this team. And then when she does play on attack, describes her as slippery on attack. Here's Flobeck at X. See a jumble of players out by the 10, just kind of looking to get set and go. Ooh, losing her defender there was Carinante for a second. And now it's Flobeck's opportunity to work from there. Good movement off ball by Spolina to occupy some space, and a defender, of course, as well. And now Flobeck back to X, and again looking for cutters. Klein came through, picked up well. Now they'll play, and Flobeck's like, fine, I'll take it to the cage. This time now there was no backup. So ESM wins it. And really for the first time, I want to say today, we're seeing this ride by Mount Sinai. Ooh, it nearly resulted in a turnover. Flobeck got her stick on Langdon's stick. Now she dives for a ball. Great effort by Flobeck. And Langdon will restart from her cage. And just kind of a matchup zone now, right, where everyone's got picked up. And Langdon not afraid to get out. And here as well, you need someone to cut upfield, maybe break deep. Langdon just kind of flings it downfield. Flobeck aggressive off her cage. She wins it. And Mount Sinai gets it right back. Well done by the Mustangs. You heard Albert Alone describe it the other day, matching feet. That's what that was for Mount Sinai, and it worked to perfection. So they get the ball back again. 7:35 left in this second half. It's a game that has been dominated by Mount Sinai. It's really in 3 phases they've been very, very good here today. Can they replicate that going forward? That's the big question. Oh, what a look to the cage. Flobeck, the finish. So Flobeck's third of the game. She's got 3 and 2. And Langdon, it looked like, we'll show it to you again, but it looked like Langdon cheated a little bit low. Let's watch it again. Flobeck, great first step. Gets by her defender, and I think even just she faked her shot, changed her angle. And you can see an ESM defender go down on contact, but number 21 having herself a game. 3 and 2 today for, and there you can see a little bit of that contact. But 3 and 2 for Leah Flobeck, who will also follow in Pareca's footsteps. She'll go to Florida, and she'll wear Shayna's old number down in Florida, which Shayna was pretty excited about. So the Twins will go in opposite directions, quite literally, with Leah going down to Florida, down to Gainesville, and Sarah out to Arizona State, out to Flagstaff. And again, we see that violation on both sides. We'll try it again. Again, you've got to get the ball up over your shoulder on the draw control. You can't go sideways and low. It's got to go up first and out. That one does just that. Look at flying in for that ball. Terrific ground ball won by Abby Sabella. We've not called her name a lot today, and you know what? For a defender, that's usually a good thing. Where she's just been steadily doing her job. And she is the lockdown defender of this group, a 4-year starter. She's so solid on the pipe. Great 1v1. Really good communication as well. She's a leader on that defensive end, especially with Gats out. She's that typical Sabella kid, man. She just plays it tough. She's athletic, fast, and strong. Klein, hands off. The one more, a little bit high for Spallina. She can do a lot, but her vertical isn't quite there. Not that high, at least. So a turnover for Mount Sinai with 5:11 left in the second half. Peyton Choma and Leah Flobeck both with 3 goals. Actually, Spalina as well. So you've got 3 different players with 3 goals apiece. Flobeck has 2 assists as well. 2 goals for Cassidy Millen. Taylor Klein, Olivia Romeo with 1 apiece as well. To lead the way for Mount Sinai. Again, they've kind of been this like boogeyman of sorts for ESM where, you know, they'll have an outstanding season, but they just can't solve, it feels like, these last few years. Mount Sinai, good split dodge, good high shot, and that's again where Flobeck is at her best. Rebound behind the back attempt, and a push will be called, so it'll be an 8-meter opportunity as Luciano tried to go behind the back. But you see ESM going a little bit different there, trying to get high, and Flobeck has been especially good today with those high shots. So Luciano, and again, can't get it past Flobeck. Luciano, another who will play in the midfield as well. But she's someone, too, who's got those nice outside shots when her hands are free. Navigating through in the finish. And Forte has had herself a really good game. That is her third, her team high third in this one. Watch it again, and really I think all 3 of her goals have been similar, just dodging, splitting defenders, and a powerful finish for the Binghamton-bound senior. 18 goals now on the season for Mia Forte, number 8. She's become one of the strengths of this Sharks team in the midfield. 13-6. The lead for Mount Sinai. It is Klein. And it is Sweeney again at the draw. Ground ball. This one picked up by Sweeney. And Sweeney continues. Oh, tries to get it in front. How about that interception? Tremendous defending by Romeo. That looked to be a sure goal. And Romeo right at the crease, intercepting it. And now look at this opportunity, though, pumping the brakes wisely. The clock is your friend now if you're Mount Sinai. That was Carinante. Look at this cut and the goal. Spalina, another assist. Her second. And a nice finish at the crease for Mount Sinai. Let's see if we can pick up the goal scorer here. We'll show it to you again. Spalina operating. Looks for cutters. Finds one as well. And there you see it. Was that Chamberlain, 22? Yes, it was. Cameron Chamberlain, the Stetson commit. Her second goal of the season. And the lead is now 14-6 for Mount Sinai with 2:42 left in this game.
Mount Sinai goal scored by number 22, Cameron Chamberlain, assisted by number 1.
Chamberlain, the junior, great stick work, great IQ, so disciplined. Someone that is used in man-up situations as well. Another draw control win for ESM. Chamberlain, Pareka says, is someone who does the little things right. Great stick work and overall just great person. Calls her the light of our team because she's so positive, so happy. She loves her teammates, just an ideal teammate.
2 minutes.
Good look. How about the fake and the finish? The fake is what opened things up for that opportunity. And then Jordan Ellis, the lefty, gets the goal. Watch Ellis here, 6. There she wants it. She gets it right there. That first step creates the separation she needs, and then she just fires it home. Ellis is really good off ball.
Jordan Ellis, assisted by number 18.
And she's been especially dangerous as Molly McGuire gets the assist. The freshman picks up her first point of the year. But for Ellis, she's so good playing against the backer because she just gets in and sneaks through on those open seams. And you saw her there on the cage or in front of the cage just finding herself open. So 14-7 is the lead now for Mount Sinai. And the Mustangs inside of 2 minutes as they're that much closer to going to 4-3 on the year and going back-to-back after a tough loss to Harbor Fields. Spallina. Will she hold here or want to add a little bit more? Again, nobody playing her, and she could just hang out there and
1 minute.
have some lunch or do some homework because no one is coming her way. Spallina, a terrific game. The sophomore with 3 and 2. That pass net blocked it down for a moment, and Carinante was hit hard. We'll stop the clock with 40 seconds left. So we'll have our first card, and it's remarkable that it took until 40 seconds left in this one to get our first card. It felt like 40 seconds in, or right off the bus in that Miller Place game on Saturday, we had a card, and by the end of it, Mount Sinai had the ball, and it was 5-on-3. Thankfully, common sense prevailed for today's officials, and we've not seen a lot. That one by Carinante off the pipe. She tracks down her own rebound, and she gets hit hard again. And good to see her up. And she'll be able to finish this one out. 39 seconds left. Choma, the fake.
30 seconds.
But yeah, 14 yellow cards in that game. Albert Alone, who's coached a very long time, said he's never seen anything like that. Thankfully, we didn't see anything like that today. Just the one yellow card to end this game, which will go down as a comprehensive victory for Mount Sinai. All that's left is the running onto the field. Maybe one more goal. Sarah Flobeck says no.
That marks the end of the game with the final
And that's
score.
how it ends, with Mount Sinai winning it 14-7. A lot of offensive contributions. Spallina with 3 and 2. Leah Flobeck with 3 and 2. Peyton Choma with 3 goals as well. 2 from Cassidy Millen. Taylor Klein, Cameron Chamberlain, and Olivia Romeo with 1 apiece. In the cage, Sarah Flobeck was awesome. And Mount Sinai, again, they bounced back off that loss to Harbor Fields. And they beat Miller Place on Saturday 9-3, and now this 14-7 win. They improve to 4-3 on the year. ESM, again, they had a 10-2 deficit at halftime, so they had a much better second half, and in fact, they did so well, they forced Pareca into a timeout, scoring 3 consecutive goals to start the second half. Mia Forte led the scorers there with 3. Emma McLean had 2. and Riley Carson. I'll do that again. Riley Carlson and Jordan Ellis with 1 apiece for ESM. So that will do it for us from Mount Sinai. Again, a 14-7 win for Mount Sinai. For our entire Varsity Media crew, our excellent technical director, AJ Nieves, and bringing you all those great moving images, Tony Damaso and Becca Kazaks. I'm Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.